Hi everybody. My name is Navpreet Singh, and we have Yaagneshwaran with me, and both of us will be talking about viral marketing and whether it's influenced by quality and innovation, or is it influenced by controversy and emotions. So this would be just a healthy discussion wherein we would be concentrating more on how viral marketing can be done by both of these factors. And we are free to discuss thoughts. And if any of you have any questions or any queries, any case studies you wanted to discuss in this forum, please feel free to do that.
Yes. So hi all, this is Yaagneshwaran Ganesh from Chennai. So as Navpreet just explained, we are going to be broadly talking about viral marketing, and we are going to discuss the specifics as you ask questions. But to start with, we'll also give you an overview of how we look at viral marketing. So to start with, my perspective of viral marketing is that there are things you can only market, and things getting viral is not with us. Of course, there are certain things that works, certain things that don't. So I personally believe that there is nothing called viral marketing per se, but you do marketing, something gets viral because certain things works. Sometimes it can be emotional, sometimes it can be, as the topic says, it can be about the quality of things, or how we put across stuff. But primarily, when you look at it, there are certain things that really click. And as human beings, I believe we are highly emotional beings. And before even we go to a shop or pick up certain things, it's already pre-decided. So I think emotions do play a lot of value in how certain things works. You never know when a song gets viral. You never know when an ad gets viral. You never know why something clicks on. So if you look at the deep aspect of it, it usually is based on the kind of status that it gives you, the kind of perspective that it gives you, or how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel empowered? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you feel low? Does it make you feel high? So the kind of emotions that it triggers with you makes you share with more
Yeah.
people, and that's how it usually spreads. So what do you think about it, Navpreet?
I think this is a very integral part of what viral marketing essentially literally stands for. So it contains the word viral, which
Right,
in fact is driven from a viral flu also. So there are a lot of similarities between a viral flu and a
right,
viral marketing campaign, or something that gets viral. So like a flu, it is very easily spread from one person to another in a very short span of time. And again, like the flu, it is cured within a few days. I mean, it does not last more than a week, or say 10 days. So same case is here. I think viral marketing is something that one person picks up, and he then spreads it along with its neighbors, family, friends, and everybody else. And that thing which spreads around, it is
right.
very common during the initial days, say about 3 to 4 days, and then it starts to fade out, or sometimes it just fades out eventually. So it is spread very quickly, and it lasts for a very short period of time. So it's like an ephemeral campaign which went up to peak very quickly, and then it fell at the same speed down again. I think it is a very small or very thin line between viral and popular, I think. So in the case of popular, there are things which are supposedly very good, or they have been innovated, or they have been standing out from other things that already exist. So those things pick up not very quickly, not as quickly as a viral marketing picks up. Those things pick up slightly slower than that, but they last for a longer time, say about 1+6. So it was launched about say 3 weeks ago, but it still lasts, and people are going to buy it say about 3 months down the line also. So it was something that became popular, although it did not become popular within a night, but it became popular within a few days, and then it may last on for a couple of months. I think that differentiation between viral and popular is something that companies need to focus on, whether they want a sudden surge of traffic, or they want a continued surge of traffic for a longer period of time.
You brought in a nice point here, because I also wanted to discuss this as part of the topic today. Is that why do we choose a certain direction? Like, are we looking at getting sales conversions, or are we looking at getting impressions, and are we looking at getting more visibility? So that takes the primary route of how you want to go about it.
Right.
As you rightly pointed out, the OnePlus as an example. If you look at it, it's the way it was propagated. It was not a conventional marketing approach. Yeah, they did not primarily focus only on ads, or they did not focus on so much of content, but instead it gave you a sense of purpose to approach it. The point is, they came up with this
Right.
concept of inviting people to buy. So which means it was not a conventional approach, but you had to have the privilege of being invited by a friend. So it was invite only, which means the moment you get selected, you feel privileged, and that's how you pass it on to your friends and family. Then that's how the viral aspect of it spread.
Yes.
Nice point there.
Yes, definitely. So that privilege factor also, I mean, once you get a card for a wedding, then you feel obliged to attend it. And
Right.
till the time you don't, I mean, if you get a call for a wedding, you may or may not go to that wedding. But if you get a formal invitation on an email, like you said, so I think that is one of the good approaches that they did. So I think a part of this conversation was also on whether viral marketing comes from a factor which has quality and innovations in it, or from a factor which has controversy and emotions in it. So what are your thoughts on it?
Right.
I think I'm going to speak about more on controversial and emotion part of it. Uh, what do you think?
Yeah, I would think so, because a lot of things. The quality is, in today's market, the quality and the aspect is a given. So if you do not provide a quality content, or if you do not provide a quality product, you're obviously out of the market. It's all about what
Yeah.
kind of experience your product delivers. At the end of the day, people are only going to remember how they felt when they used your product, or when they were in your shop, or whatever. But it's not about the quality. Maybe useful for you to brag about for some time, but ultimately it's about the experience. It's about the limelight that you get. And I believe controversies and the controversies primarily work a lot, at least in terms of viral marketing. But I would not say that it necessarily translates into proper ROI that I would look at. But when it has something has to get viral, it has to be a bit controversial, or it has to be at least out of the box, out of the regular, so that it catches the eye of people. The people down south would know this song called Jimmy Kamal, which was very normal, but at the end of the day, suddenly somebody danced it in a party or in their office function, and that video became much more viral
Right.
than the actual song. So you never know
Yeah.
what's going to actually pick up. Yeah,
I think you brought in a good point here, wherein quality is very important in the longer run. So if you just want to,
right,
attract people and retain them or sustain them with your product, I think quality and innovation is very important in that case. Wherein you also pointed out that putting in a slight controversy is important for people to, pick that thing up, or just to grab the eyeballs. So I think we in India are
right,
very, or I think in the entire world, this concept is similar, that people are very interested in the lives of different people other than themselves. So they like crisp news,
right,
they like masala news, they like controversies, they like celebrity news, breakups, patch-ups, scandals, kisses, whatnot. So all of these things people are really interested to hear about, and and then they talk about it in their friend groups and all of this. So these could be very small controversies, like Mika Singh and Rakhi Sawant controversy, or it could be
right,
a patch up of, say, Alia Bhatt and Ranbir Kapoor. So it could be very small things for those people,
right.
but for us to talk about, or for the or other people to talk about, these controversies and patch ups and everything are very very eye catchy. So some companies are very quick at building this thing up. So I remember when Virat Kohli and Deepika Padukone, Anushka Sharma, both of them had,
Anushka Sharma. Yeah,
yes, so both of them had taken a picture together.
right.
I think it had a snow background or something, and then it got viral, and people started making memes out of it, and Some companies also started making advertisements based on those things. So I think controversy is something that can kickstart your viral marketing thing, and to continue it, to maintain it, I think quality and what do you give in return to the user, or what do you deliver to the person, is what stays with them.
Right. I think so. Also psychologically, when you
And
look at it as human beings,
any
we
thoughts
tend
about
to,
emotion?
we are never satisfied with what we have. And if that gap, yes. So the point is, as humans, we are usually, do not we are not happy with the kind of things that we have right now. The moment we have something to latch on to or share with someone, may it be an emotion or may it be an information, that is something that makes us feel larger than ourselves. Probably, that's the reason why
Right.
programs like Big Boss or programs like any spicy programs become a hit. Or even in terms of selling a product, if you look at it, how it makes you feel makes a difference. For example, somebody driving in a BMW, we look at them, in a different way than someone driving a normal car. So the thing is, we always as humans try to latch on to something that is larger than us, so that we feel part of the larger group. And ultimately, it's all about that association that the mind wants, and that's exactly what as marketers tap into when it comes to the virality of
Right,
certain
right.
concepts.
So all marketers want is people get attached to the product, or people attach their emotions to it. So say every marketing
Exactly.
campaign, they try to bring out a story. So because every story is story is a very convenient way to connect to the user and get them emotionally hooked onto whatever they are trying to sell, or whatever they're trying to market. So say in the case of Sanju movie, so it was essentially a very good
Right.
storytelling, wherein people were very hooked on to emotional piece of it, on how emotional connect between a father and a son is very strong connect, and that emotion gripped on to everybody, and everybody then was connected to the final product. In this case, the product was Sanjay Dutt. So people
Right.
already started sensitizing towards the product, which was Sanjay Dutt, and their entire picture, their entire that perspective of Sanjay Dutt changed due to that storytelling and connecting with emotions of the people. So I think every campaign that
Right.
marketers design, or business designs, they try to convey a story, and then they try to hook on to people with a certain emotion. So I think that emotion is very important. This also, reminds me of another campaign by Google. Uh, I think it was launched about a couple of months ago, say about a year ago, wherein they showed how you can search for something. Say, the ad showed that a young girl went up to her grandfather, and she was searching for something, and then she searched on Pakistan, and then she searched for a sweet shop
Yes. Yes.
wherein his grandfather's friend lived, and she connected them. She called them, and then they arranged a meeting. So that kind of emotional connect, that was very important. And as
Right.
soon as the connect was built, people started looking up to how Google's products, or how Google Maps could be used to locate people, how Google Maps could be used for aged people, or how it could be used in a family, in a household. So I think that kind of emotional connect, like you said, humans are very emotional beings. So if we connect to the human emotion part of it, I think that is a very direct contact, and that would last on.
Absolutely. And if you look at it, a slight addition to that, very similar to Google, if you look at Facebook, ultimately, it's a product where we are the people who put on content. It's not even Facebook who writes content. And at the end of the day, why we are so connected to Facebook is the fact that at the end of the day, we try to show ourselves differently. We put up pictures just to show that our life is so good. It might be a different case in reality, but we want to show, put ourselves in front of people differently. We want to promote ourselves. And if you look at it, everybody latches onto it because everybody wants to showcase themselves differently. At the end of the day, it's an emotional attachment towards the forum itself, because it gives you a different kind of an image. So at the end of the day, I think it's also about, as you pointed out with the example of Google, it makes you feel certain things, and it's not just about the emotion. It's also how certain products make you project in front of people. That also is a cause of virality.
Right, right, right. So yeah, so like you said,
Primarily when it comes to growth hacking and using a product.
right, right, right. So even after all these allegations that were put on Facebook in recent times about the data privacy and all those issues, even after that, Facebook continues to have about a million or a billion monthly active users and daily active users. So that is because I think
Right.
that platform has something which is connecting people. So, and it is not just a chat box wherein two people are connecting, but you can actually see somebody else's lives, whether or not they are true lives or fake lives. But again, emotions are connected to it. You can see your friends, you can see colleagues, or even after this session, some of attendees may connect with you or me, or even both of us would connect, and we could arrange a meeting, say after about a few months ago, a few months later. So I think this
Right.
emotional connect that people do via all these social platforms is a very important thing wherein people stay.
So can we at this point also, since I think Navpreet and we have given a broad overview, I think it'll be more useful for all of you. If you have specific questions, so that we can also discuss that, so that we can better make use of this time. And I'm sure Navpreet will definitely add his value with his experience. So let's
Yes,
bring in some questions as well.
definitely.
Dear audience, dear participants, please raise questions for the ceasefire round. And viral marketing, based on the topic, viral marketing is about the controversy and emotions or the quality and innovations in it. Dear audience, do you have any questions? Please rise to the speakers. And we have a question raised from Jennifer's side. From my point of view, I think emotional is what plays the games in terms of CTR.
So I think it's a great point that you made, Jennifer. See, at the end of the day, yes, emotions do make you click, but at the end of the day, as marketers, we also have to make sure what kind of audience are we attracting when we do that. Because when you look at viral marketing, it generally goes to a broader audience. But when you try to sell a product, say for example, if you're in a B2B scenario, your audience is often very niche. For example, if I'm into a marketing technology, or if I'm into, say, for example, AI for B2B marketers and salespeople, I might probably purely be looking at the VPs of marketing or directors of marketing or the CMOs. And if I'm broadly making everyone click, it might help me boost my CTR, but at the end of the day, the conversions might be very low. So it is very important to see which pillar of marketing are you catering to. Is it about creating impressions? Is it about creating visibility? Or are we looking at down the funnel? What is the conversion rate? So what's your view?
I think Jennifer is more focused on branding. So, like she also continued her question on whether emotionally driven content improves branding in a right way or in a negative way. So, I think adding to what Yaagneshwaran pointed out, that your emotionally driven content is never going to be negative for your audience, but only that you need to spark the right kind of emotion among the right kind of audience. So even if you drive a very good CTR from say a 18 to 24 age group of audience, but that audience is not going to help you in any way further down the line.
Okay, we have a question
I think we have
from
another
Robert
two
as well
questions
as
from
Lisa.
Robert.
So, what are the elements of viral video content?
All right. From my viewpoint, I think a viral video content primarily should be any video for that matter in today's world, the attention span is very small. So I think anything over 60 to 90 seconds is generally not spent time on. As you look at it, the longer the video is, you have drops in the views. And then I think also look at how different it is from the regular videos. If is your storytelling different, is your messaging different, is the characters different, or the whole what kind of emotion does it trigger? So it is not necessary that it should always only trigger positive messages. It can also be something that is a teaser. It can also be something that makes you think. It can also be something that makes you really cry for it, as the Google video that you mentioned. So it could be anything, but as long as you keep it crisp and as long as you distinguish from most videos coming during that time, I think you have a good chance. But at the end of the day, you cannot necessarily say that this video, by doing A, B, and C, it will get it viral. But you just have to go by certain yardsticks and see if this fits, and then wait for the rest to actually happen.
Yeah, so I think of a viral video, like Yaagneshwaran said, you need to spark an emotion. It could be any emotion that you need to, bring out to. Any emotion conveyed through a video is very, direct to the audience. And as soon as you are watching a video, it's not something that you are reading. It's not something that you are just looking at for a moment. You're looking at something for a longer than a video or longer than an image, and you're not reading something. So like movies are very crisp to grasp as compared to books. So movies also make a very good element to spark emotion in you than a book. So I think that element of a viral video, wherein the emotion connect is with the person that is watching it, I think that emotional connect or a story is important. So I think the most important element, to summarize it all up, the most important element of a viral video content is a story. That story could lead on to a positive emotion, it could lead on to a neutral emotion, but it has to be a story conveyed to connect to the audience.
Okay, we have another question from Liza. What is driving majority of user to sites like BuzzFeed.com to at present, and Viral Nova at the early stage?
Okay, so if you look at primarily these sites that give you a lot of information, say for example BuzzFeed that you mentioned, it's from a marketing perspective or a viral marketing perspective, I'll say there's something called FOMO. There is FOMO, fear of missing out, which means like there is a lot of things that is going on in the market today, and I don't want to miss out, and I don't want to miss out on a lot of information. For example, same is the case with Facebook as well. If you look at it, you might be sleeping in the middle of the night, you wake up, it might be just to have a sip of water, but still you pick up your phone and check what's going on, if somebody has put something, and even in that moment you might click on a like, or you might put in a comment and then go back to bed, because I don't want to necessarily miss out what my friends are discussing on. Let's say for example, think about the day where the 500 and 1000 rupee notes were cancelled, and it was the topic all over the night. And if you go to offices or colleges from the next day, that was the entire topic of discussion. So you don't want to be out of the loop and look like a fool in front of your friends, if I may put it that way. So this makes you stick and be part of the herd, because you have to be accepted, you have to know what is going on, and you cannot be missing on any of these things. That's one of the primary reasons that drives you. And at the end of the day, if you look at it, it's all your friends and family on these platforms. If none of these people are existing there, you also would not go there. So it's that association that drives you primarily there.
Right. So I think these websites like BuzzFeed or Viral Nova, so they already contain the word viral in their name, and BuzzFeed already contains the word buzz in the name. So by the literal meaning of these websites or their domain names is something that is currently trending, and they are building onto it. So say what is currently buzzing, and they are just feeding onto it. So what currently buzzing is the Netflix original series, which is Sacred Games. So, say if I write an article about Sacred Games, or if I write a review, or say if I write a controversial review that I did not like Sacred Games. So this review is against the popular opinion of people liking this particular original web show. So if I write a very a different opinion, people are going to read it. And so whatever is buzzing right now, and if you feed onto it, people would eventually read it. So say there was a royal wedding, I think a couple of weeks ago. So if you write about that royal wedding, and if you say that I did not like it, people are going to read it. That why did you not like it? So again, I think whatever is currently being talked about in the world, if you pick onto it, and if you write something which is controversial, or if you write something which connects to the people, then I think they are going to read it. Say for example, I think it's about today's news that there has been some ministerial, a scam in Pakistan, wherein someone from the ministry is going to jail. I would not name them, but I think it's in the news. So if I write about something that how I felt on it, and I support Pakistan, or I support their ministers. If I go against the popular opinion, people are going to read it. And say, even if I comment something which is slightly different from the popular opinion, then people are going to read it. So these websites again pick up topics which are currently trending, and then they push on opinions onto it. So they would also pick up a topic which has been highly relevant for a year now, which is feminism. So anything which is closely related to females being mistreated at some place, or females being very highly treated at some place, something which is not popular. So they pick onto it, and then they post something, and that's how their content goes viral. And I would like to add one more point here, that their every article is very crisp. So they would not put in facts from around the world. They would not quote reuters. They would not quote Wikipedia, or they would not quote actual information. They would just write someone's opinions therein, and there would not be a huge length of article or an essay. It would just be a short paragraph that I said about something. Say a short paragraph that I would be talking on phone with my friend. So I could write that thing, and people would come on to read it, and their headline would be very eye-catching, which would say that five things that are not good about Sacred Games. So people are definitely going to read that. So something which is out of the box,
I think you very nicely
out of the line.
And in fact, as you very nicely put it, I think these are the kind of headings that you often tend to see in sites like Scoop and all of that. 5 things, and look at point 5 or look at point 4, things like that. And one last point I would also like to add as a part of this is that it's when you try to latch on to every single situation that is happening in the market and make use of that, I think that can at times also backfire. It is important, even when you as a brand or as an individual are trying to pick up something that is happening right now and latch onto that and build a viral campaign around it. It is important to also make sure that you're picking the things that are closer to who you are or who your company is as a product or as a company, so that it aligns with that story. Otherwise, it's going to look like this person is just claiming attention, and people might not take you very seriously.
I think that there has to be a streamline of thoughts, or maybe pick up something and you stick on to that theme. So if there is a trending news about something, and it is closely related to what your blog or your brand projects, then I think picking that up is very relevant. Otherwise, it would lead to negative marking, like you said, that this person is just claiming attention. So that negative brand building could also happen if you do not pick on that, and you just feed on to everything that comes your way.
Okay, we have another question, one more question. How is brand building best than using social media? So Mr. Ragaman from the audience side, he mentioned that I think Twitter. So how you see that?
So yeah, my perspective on brand building is that, see, again, it can be social media, it can be anywhere else, but at the end of the day, primarily pick whom you're going to sell to and whom you want to build your brand to. So it's even with respect to social media. Let's say, for example, if you are building a very professional brand, I think if you spend all your energies on LinkedIn alone, it might make a lot of sense. Or if you're trying to sell a fashion brand or a food brand or something that's needs to be eye catching, spending a lot of time on Instagram might really help. So pick and choose which social media you actually want to be, and put out content that is highly resonating with that kind of people. So, for example, also go into the analytics and understand who are the kind of what is the age group and what is the demographics of the set of people that are mostly engaging with you, and make pick and choose the kind of message that will resonate with that age group or that profession or that demographic or a region, and so that there is a chance that there is a lot of engagement to that. A step-by-step yardstick for that is to see, is not go by the number of likes or the number of retweets alone, but to see how many people are commenting, how many people are talking to you, and from there how many people are also coming back to your website. So that click-throughs and that engagement would be a good yardstick for you to look at if what you're doing is working or not.
Right. So I think, like you correctly pointed out, Yaagneshwaran, that before brand building, you need to know the audience that you are going to build your brand onto. And to know the audience, you can definitely refer to insights from Google Analytics. And this is very important part, and I think this is one of the first initial parts on how you start to build a brand. So you need to define a target group, and once you have identified the target group, then I think then it's easier to spot where is this target group living on. Is this target group living on Twitter? Is this target group living on Instagram? Is it consuming YouTube more? Is it consuming Facebook more? Or I think which social media is this target group present on, and that social media is the best social media platform for your brand. So I would not say one social media wins over another. It's just about where your target audience or your target group is lying. So I think top platforms, if I have to name it, could be again Twitter and YouTube. But again, it boils down to where your target audience lies.
Okay, that was a great and informative debate from Mr. Yaagneshwaran Ganesh and Mr. Navpreet Singh, and I congratulate both of the debaters on their performance, and I hope that all the spectators enjoyed the event. I declare this debate officially concluded, and thank you for your time, both of you. Thanks for coming for GDMS2 also. Looking for your great support in future events. Thank you, sir. If you have any, if you don't have any objection, please type your email ID in the chat box. So if the audience have any questions related to this, they will contact you in the future.
So this is my email. So any of you, please do feel free to get in touch, and I'll be happy to converse with you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yaagneshwaran. Thank you so much, Mr. Navpreet Singh. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.